Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take the sources you share with us and turn information into pure, actionable insight.
Today we are really digging into Seoul.
That's right, a city that, for so many people, looks like the absolute pinnacle of urban living. You see it in K-dramas, this vision of perfect infrastructure, incredible food, neon lights, just limitless energy.
And it is incredibly dynamic, no question. But that glossy image, especially for anyone looking to stay longer than, say, a 2-week vacation, it definitely hides some significant operational friction.
Okay, so that's our mission for you today, the listener.
Exactly. We've gathered sources that really zoom in on what long-term foreign residents call the silent stress of living in Seoul. We're going to pull back that curtain and look at the real hurdles.
The bureaucracy, the high-stakes housing drama, and all the cultural pressures that you're constantly dealing with.
Right. It's about getting past that initial tourist buzz.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the one thing that gets everyone. The clock that never stops ticking. The visa.
The visa. That clock basically dictates your entire initial experience. Most people, they arrive at a 90-day tourist stamp, which is great for a short trip.
Perfect for a holiday.
But the second you decide, I want to stay, that stamp just nurse. It mokes from a convenience into this huge source of anxiety.
Because for those 90 days, you're basically in limbo.
Total limbo. You can't open a proper bank account, and you need that for everything. Rent, utilities, you name it. You can't secure a stable job. You can't even really enroll in a long-term course until you get that status changed.
So that first 3 months isn't a settling-in period at all. It's a race, a high-stakes race to get your residential status sorted before time runs out.
And the most common way people do that, according to the sources, is by enrolling in a language program. That can get you what's called a D4 visa.
Which is sort of the default move, it seems, to buy yourself some time and get a legal foothold.
It is. But it is not a casual choice. This requires a massive commitment up front, both financially and logistically. You have to think about pretty significant tuition fees, which are often non-refundable,
Okay.
mandatory health checks from specific clinics, and crucially, you have to show irrefutable proof that you can support yourself. Cold, hard cash sitting in a bank account.
Wow. So you need a serious budget before you even land.
A very serious budget. And once you have all that, then you get to enter what one source perfectly called paperwork purgatory.
And this is where your patience really gets tested.
It's exhaustive. I mean, we're talking about a huge portfolio of documents, authenticated criminal record checks from home, official certificates, notarized copies of everything.
And it all has to be translated in a very, very specific order.
Microscopic attention to detail. And then you get to the immigration office, and you could be waiting for hours. But the most draining part, the part that really breaks people, is if you miss one single detail. A signature in the wrong place. A form that expired yesterday. They will just send you home, and you have to start the whole process over again.
Which could mean weeks or even months of delay.
Exactly. Mentally and financially, it is just draining.
Okay, so let's say you survive that. You get your visa. The next big shock waiting for you is what we're calling the housing hustle.
Yes, because the Korean housing market runs on norms that are just. They're completely alien to most Western renters.
It's a shock, for sure. So let's start with the big one, the notorious Jonesy system.
Right, the Shenchonsi. So with this, the renter pays a gigantic lump sum deposit up front. We're talking anywhere from 50 to 80% of the property's total value.
Half the price of a house just to rent it.
Exactly. The upside, though, is you pay almost no monthly rent. The landlord takes your huge deposit, invests it, lives off the interest, and then, in theory, you get the entire sum back when you move out.
In theory, but for a foreigner with no credit history, raising that kind of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, it sounds impossible.
For most, it is. And we have to talk about the risk. The whole system is built on trust. And if the landlord defaults, or worse, commits fraud, which has been a huge issue recently, you can lose everything, your entire deposit.
Your life savings? Gone.
Wow, it's a massive risk. So most new arrivals end up with the other system, which is WOLS.
Okay, and that's more familiar. A smaller deposit plus monthly rent.
A bit more familiar, yes. But the deposit is still significant, and getting a traditional apartment can still be really tough. So people on a tighter budget often end up in one of two places.
Let me guess. First up is the Goshen.
The Goshen. Tiny single rooms. Truly tiny. Sometimes no bigger than a large walk-in closet. They'll run you maybe $400 to $600 a month.
And the sources all mention the paper-thin walls, the shared kitchens. It's not just about the size, it's the total lack of privacy.
Zero privacy. You are intimately aware of your neighbors' lives. So the step up from that is the office tell.
These are the modern, super efficient studio apartments. Small, maybe 20 square meters or like 215 square feet.
Right, very efficient. But they come with, let's call them space quirks.
Oh, like the washing machine being hidden under the kitchen counter, or my personal favorite, the shower head installed literally over the toilet.
Maximum efficiency in every single corner. That's the pally-pally, fast design philosophy. But an office tell is a big price jump, maybe $800 to $1,200 a month, plus utilities.
So for anyone who just cannot deal with all that hassle, the deposits, buying furniture, setting up bills, there is a third way, isn't there?
There is, and it's what the sources highlight for corporate teams or professionals on longer stays. They point to solutions like service apartments in Seoul.
The truly hassle-free route.
Absolutely. It's the mechanism for bypassing all that drama. Service departments come with furniture, utilities are included, sometimes even cleaning services. You operate completely outside the whole Johnson and Wool's deposit system.
And that's why these extended stay solutions are so critical for business travelers. You get instant stability.
It lets you focus on your actual job instead of becoming a part-time housing administrator. It's definitely the highest price point. But if your priority is stability and, just reducing stress, the investment is often worth it.
It's like paying a stability tax. Okay, let's shift from physical friction to human friction. Communication. There's bilingual signage everywhere, which is great. But how far does that actually get you?
It means you have the directions, but you don't have the map. The English signs get you to the right subway platform, sure. But translation apps, they just hit a wall as soon as you deal with anything complex. Slang, nuance, or the all-important honorifics.
And the sources had a really good, if slightly painful, anecdote about that.
Yes. The difference between connecting with someone and failing completely can be a single vowel sound. One source mentioned a foreigner trying to order a small snack at a pub.
Anjou, the pub food.
Right, anjou. But because of a tiny mispronunciation, they accidentally asked for anjou.
Which can mean dog meat.
Yes, and the look on the waiter's face was just instant, profound confusion.
That's such a powerful example of why context is everything. It's not just about being understood, it's about showing respect for the hierarchy that's baked into the language itself.
Absolutely. If you miss an honorific or use casual language when you shouldn't, you don't just sound like a tourist. You can sound incredibly rude.
So the solution is really just sustained, active effort.
It is. Language classes, constantly listening, and being willing to play charades when you have to. And learning the basic etiquette bowing, using formal address, that's the key to preventing constant misunderstandings.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the invisible costs, the cultural pressures foreigners face every day.
And it starts with the speed. The legendary pali culture. Fast, fast. It dictates the pace of everything. 15-minute food delivery, super fast processing. Everything.
And that's why Seoul is so dynamic, right? It's what people love about it. But living in it must create this constant mental exertion.
It does. You feel like you're always playing catch up, always rushing.
Yeah.
That high baseline pace is a huge driver of that silent stress we mentioned.
So the trade-off is this incredible public benefit, like the hyper-efficient transit system, at the cost of your own individual time and rest.
That's exactly it. And layered right on top of that pace is this intense, unavoidable focus on appearance. K-beauty standards are famous, but living there means you are subject to that pressure every single day.
And the ideals are so specific, aren't they? That pursuit of clear, pale, glass skin, the V-shaped jawline, a small face, a very slim body.
It's pervasive societal demand. And what really surprises foreigners is how openly things are discussed. Non-surgical treatments like Botox or fillers, even surgery. It's all advertised everywhere. Subway stations, billboards.
Yeah, and it's not just for women anymore.
No, the pressure applies to men too. It's an environment where self-improvement can start to feel a lot like mandatory conformity.
Which sounds like a constant psychological tightrope walk. You're trying to appreciate the culture while also just maintaining your own sense of self.
And that low-level exhaustion from conforming eventually connects directly to another big problem, finding mental wellness support.
This is such a critical point. When you're running in that speed, under all that pressure, you need support. But finding it is a huge challenge.
The sources are clear on this. There's a severe scarcity and a very high cost for English-speaking therapists. The services are overwhelmingly geared toward Korean speakers.
And even if you find someone, the cost can be prohibitive, can't it?
It can, which makes getting regular, sustained care very difficult unless you're on a really premium corporate package.
And then there's the local fight-through-it mentality, which doesn't always encourage showing vulnerability.
Not at all. The Pali ethos is about pushing forward. So a lot of foreigners, they just internalize their struggles, and they feel incredibly isolated.
That isolation gets amplified by something the sources call the expat churn effect.
This is a huge systemic emotional cost. You make friends quickly as an expat, really intensely. You bond over the visa process or late-night soju.
But the relationships are fragile.
Structurally fragile. Most contracts are short-term, maybe 18 to 24 months, which means you are constantly saying these painful goodbyes to people you've just formed a deep connection with.
So you're basically rebuilding your entire social network every 2 years. That's a predictable, recurring emotional toll.
Precisely. It makes building a stable social life so hard. The alternative is integrating into local groups, but that requires even more effort.
Time, serious language skills, persistence. Because local circles are often built on relationships from school, university, or the military.
Right. They take much longer to break into.
Yeah.
The one bright spot is that hobby-based clubs, hiking, sports, things like that, they offer a more organic way to connect over a shared activity, not just a shared passport.
Okay, let's touch on the final layer of stress. The little daily quirks that just add up, starting with, surprisingly, trash.
The overwhelming recycling system, this is a full-time commitment. It's not just a blue bin and a black bin.
No.
You have mandatory, highly segregated bins for paper, vinyl, glass, plastic, food waste. And for food waste, you have to buy these special official bags. And everything has to be cleaned, dried, sometimes even cut up.
And if you get it wrong,
You can get fined. Some
Yeah.
apartment buildings even have cameras to monitor the trash area.
Yeah.
It adds these tiny little stress points to every single day.
Another one is the cost of fruit.
Yeah, due to imports, things like berries or a big watermelon can be shockingly expensive, almost like a luxury gift. The advice is just to stick to the delicious, affordable seasonal stuff like persimmons.
And then 2 quick but crucial social details. First, the greeting, June, did you eat?
Which is not a literal question. It's a warm, genuine, how are you? It's a way of showing you care about someone's well-being.
And second, the intense drinking culture, or hosik.
The mandatory company dinners, they are essential for team bonding for your career. They involve multiple rounds of soju, and there are very strict rules. Never pour your own drink. Always pour for your elders first.
And not participating can actually hold you back professionally.
It absolutely can. It's part of the work culture you have to learn to navigate.
So what does this all mean? The sources are unanimous. Seoul is this incredible electric city, but it demands an enormous amount from you. It tests your patience, your wallet, and your emotional resilience.
Absolutely. Despite all the stress, the paperwork, the constant pace, the quiet loneliness, the city really rewards those who come prepared. The key seems to be packing a lot of patience, a flexible attitude, and honestly, a really good sense of humor.
Because your resolve will be tested. So since stability in Seoul, whether it's housing, social circles, or mental health support, can feel so fragile for a foreigner, the question for you, the listener, is this. What fundamental aspects of personal ease and foundational stability must you be willing to sacrifice for the sheer efficiency, dynamism, and electric spade of a truly high-performing global city? That is something to mull over as you begin your own deep dive. We'll see you next time.